show who you are. And that is your brand. Your brand is you.
All right, friends, welcome back to Market Shares. I'm your host, Tony Blodgett, and today I'm excited to have a conversation with our marketing director, Sarahfina Perry. Sarahfina, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for this conversation. It's been great getting to know you a little bit, and more than that, although I love getting to know you, I love the knowledge that you bring to the table around marketing. And I think for loan officers, for real estate agents, a lot of people in a market like this, when it's a little bit slower, they think about, contracting and kind of pulling back. And here, we're kind of doubling down our efforts in some areas where I think is a little bit unconventional, but I think that it's important for loan officers right now more than ever to really be out there in the marketplace. This is an opportunity to really gain market share. Mm-hmm. And so I think marketing and branding is definitely one of the main ways in which you can do that. So I'm excited to have you on board, and I'm excited to kind of pick your brain a little bit today about what loan officers should be doing to build a personal brand, set their goals around their marketing strategies and the like. But as you got yourself kind of immersed into the mortgage industry, I guess I would like to hear, what was your take on how loan officers do marketing without, a marketing person to help them? Like what kind of things were you seeing? Were you surprised by how it is that loan officers go about branding themselves in the marketplace, just generally speaking, or what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so I noticed that without really direction, it's kind of limiting to a loan officer to really execute on some of the aspects of marketing that they may know they need to be doing, but they don't have that person to really help them drive to that successful implementation. So it's really nice getting when I was able to get into it and really get my hands into everything and really help drive the LOs to do some of these things that they should be doing. And, I like to focus on strengths when it comes to this business. You were just talking about the basics back in one of your podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's true. It really, marketing revolves around all the basics. And it's really figuring out what the strength is for that LO, what they enjoy doing. And I like to focus on that. And that's really where you see the success happen, is really staying consistent with whatever basics you're really going to commit to. Show who you are. And that is your brand. Your brand is you. That's kind of what I've learned, that every LO is different. Every LO has a different brand. You all have different value propositions, and it's really important to communicate that in every aspect of your marketing, whether it's through email, your note cards, your videos that you're doing. It all matters. So don't forget to showcase who you are, because that is your brand.
Yeah. So I think in this industry, a lot of people who are trainers or coaches, they tend to focus on kind of one way of doing things. And what I think I hear you saying is that figuring out what someone's, own uniqueness is, like what are they passionate about? What are they good at? What are they comfortable doing? And then really encouraging them to expand in that area. Is that kind of what I hear you saying?
Absolutely. Mastering that, really, and then kind of from there, going to that next step. It's like, okay, we're ready to now dive into this. And, and then they just continually grow within their marketing avenues when it comes to their business. So
yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel kind of forced or like encouraged to do things that are really outside their comfort zone. And what I find is that they'll really just do nothing. If they're resistant about it, they'll just do nothing. And, not everyone's going to just, go on and start a podcast as an example, right? It's not everyone's cup of tea, but you could start by doing, coming on a podcast, and having a conversation, or doing some short form video that gets you comfortable in front of the camera, and then kind of evolve that over time, right? Baby step in that direction. And so I think you're right that if you're a loan officer who finds yourself looking at what people that are really successful in this industry are doing, and your thought is, I can't do that, I think you should be asking yourself, what steps could I take today that would move me closer to being able to do that? So let's talk a little bit about personal branding, because, we all work for organizations that, and it's not just the organizations we work for. I mean, every large organization out there understands the need for building their brand. But I don't know that all real estate agents and loan officers understand the need to build a personal brand that really is, inside of that corporate brand. Because at the end of the day, we're building relationships with referral partners, real estate agents, and even our clients that, look, for all we know, it's the mortgage industry. I mean, there's companies going out of business all the time. There's mergers, there's acquisitions. There's people changing their business philosophy and strategies that leave loan officers without a job sometimes, and you still have to have your book of business. So talk to us a little bit about a personal brand, why it's important, and what steps or what components of that might a loan officer want to have in place to really help them start building their own personal brand.
Yeah, so your personal brand is, like I was kind of mentioning in the beginning of the podcast, it's giving a glimpse of who you are as a person. I've noticed over time that it's always the content, whether it's through a video or if it's just you and your family out at a vacation, letting go, showing and telling people, where you love to visit. So, with that, you can create a team name and a logo and do all that kind of stuff, which just enhances your branding as well. But really, at the end of the day, your personal brand is you. And that kind of also makes me want to dive into the database topic.
Yeah.
Do you feel that a lot of people in this industry utilize their database and follow through on it as much as they should? Because
No.
I know I've been in this industry for over 5 years, and every LO and every real estate agent knows that's the gold mine of your business, but they don't focus the time on really cultivating those relationships. Take the time to time block and set a realistic goal for yourself daily to start connecting with that database. And I know a lot of times LOs or real estate agents are like, I haven't talked to them in like over a year and a half.
Right.
So then there's that obstacle. It's like, I don't, now they feel like they can't reach out at all because why are you calling me a year and a half later? I haven't heard from you, Don't let that stop you from connecting with your database. Give them a call and just see where they're at. Update them on your life, what's new with you, and also figure out what's new with them. Are they still loving where they live? Are they still loving their home? But don't let it fall from there. Just, try to keep up with that consistency of setting a game plan. Even if it's 2 calls a day, 2 is better than 0. And try to have an accountability partner, whether that's someone that's on your team or even a partner of yours. Maybe of another lender or a real estate agent who needs to be doing the same thing, and you guys can really partner and have accountability meetings and help each other through it.
Let me ask you, I completely agree with you on that. When I think about a database, and I think about prospecting, and then I think about marketing. Do you think there's a difference between the two? Like in your mind, what would constitute like marketing versus just picking up the phone and calling somebody? And what can we do from a marketing and branding perspective to also reach out to our database? Or do you think it's important to do that in addition to actual phone calls and whatnot?
Absolutely. I think, you do have those campaigns that are just, like those normal birthday campaigns or anniversary campaigns or those continuous things that go out, but aren't that personal to you. So
Right.
I like to always talk to, whether that's a real estate agent or a lender, it's like, I like to really encourage them to do something custom and showcase a little bit about who they are, whether that's quarterly, every other month, or monthly, really, again, trying to identify that consistent plan of what's going to be attainable for them and what's like, okay, yeah, I could do quarterly something, or whatever it is, and really still be that expert that they know, really kind of update their database from their point of view, what's going on in the market, right? Prospecting and marketing, I feel like they go together like coffee and creamer.
Jelly.
Yeah, coffee and creamer, So it's like, yeah, it all matters. But again, my main thing when it comes to what my personal opinion is I really love for the LOs to, again, give that little piece of them, find out what their database is doing. And even if you're sending these emails out on a consistent basis, it's like, there's that much more reason to call. You just sent an email out, maybe, Monday evening, you send it out. Now on Tuesday, you can go look at your opens and follow up on people who opened it or responded to you or haven't opened it. Hey, I sent you an email yesterday. I just wanted to follow up and let you know, there's a market update in there. Also, a little bit about what I've been up to. Just was calling to check in and see what you've been up to. Hope you opened up that email and give me a call when you have time.
Yeah. Well, we had, I don't know if you saw it, but we had Molly Borst on here last week, and she works for a company called Bonzo, and we've recently rolled out Bonzo as a CRM. And, I think any CRM is super important to use. We talked about this on it, so I'm not here to necessarily push Bonzo per se, but what I love about it, and the more I learn about the power of that particular tool, and I'm sure other Salesforce-driven CRMs or whatever might have this, but you could literally do what you just said and put it into a campaign, right? You could send an email and then have it followed up with a text message that says, hey, just want to let you know I sent you an email and this is what it said, and then you could follow it up with a slide like a voicemail drop, and you could have all three of those things happen in the same day, or you could have them all happen within 15 minutes, or you could have them staggered a day apart. And there's ways of automating your communication with your database that peppers in both what I would consider traditional prospecting calls with marketing efforts together in one platform. And it can be personalized, but also fairly automated. And, I think for today's modern mortgage professional, we like to talk a lot about the basics. I'm kind of old school in that way, but and I'm not going to move away from that. Like, you need to do the basics, but you need to leverage technology in a way that allows you to be more efficient with executing on those basic strategies.
Absolutely. There's tons of tech right now in our industry that a lot of LOs and real estate agents are using. For example, HomeBot. HomeBot's a huge, value add to their clients and the prospects right now. And it's like, for people that I know are investing in that tool, I'm always like, just communicate that all the time. I mean, whether it's in an email that, just reminding your client database that, hey, I have this, share it with your friends and family. It's free to them too. If you know anybody renting or buying, there's a buyer function and then also a homeowner function,
Right.
Just really leaning all that tech you're using into every single aspect you're doing, because there's a lot of value that comes with that tech. MBS Highway, HomeBot,
Mortgage Coach.
Mortgage Coach,
Yeah,
exactly.
I love Mortgage Coach. And, as we talk about technology, I remember, Dave, I'm going to say famously said, it probably wasn't not famous, but he said that, in the mortgage industry, the loan officer is not going to be replaced by technology, but the modern loan officer that doesn't leverage technology will be left behind by those that do. And there couldn't be a statement that's more true as you see AI coming online and people finding more and more ways of incorporating AI, even Chat GPT in writing. If you're going to teach a home buyer class, or you're going to do a video, like if you want to do a video series around something in mortgage, and you ask Chat GPT that says, hey, I want to do, a series of 7 videos that are 5 minutes each, and I want to focus on, 5 different aspects of the home buying process, it will literally type you out like a roadmap on what to follow. And then if you want to go in there and make some small edits to it, or even ask ChatGPT to make some edits for you, it will do that. And so this idea of, I don't have any content, I'm not creative like that, that's a bunch of bularchy, because you can literally leverage AI today for free on your iPhone to come up with these ideas, these scripts. You have to leverage them because in order to really reach out to the amount of prospects necessary, especially in a market like this, you have to do it by leveraging technology. You can't do it all yourself. You have to cast a wider net, and then you have to have like you said, build a brand that you can then push out through these different avenues. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about, I think about going to open houses or hosting open houses with a realtor. Do you think is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Absolutely.
Thumbs up.
10 thumbs up. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Is there something that you should bring with you, or, what do you have any thoughts on, just show up, or is there a strategy?
Nope, just show up. I think just show up, be yourself. Let them know you're supporting your clients on the weekends. You're there for them. If they have anybody that comes by during the weekend for the open house that isn't pre-approved, that needs something, that you'll be the go-to and give your information.
You're suggesting that they actually ask for business when they're out there.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Always selling. That's just how I am, though. That's my opinion.
I think there's subtle ways. I think it is important in one way or another to set a hook, to ask for business. And you don't have to be abrasive about it, but you do have to let people know, like, look, I'm out here on the weekend because I love looking at houses, but I also love meeting new real estate agents. And I want you to know that when you're working, I'm working. And if you have any clients that need me, I'm here. I mean, Absolutely. It's not difficult to add that in there. In the absence of letting them know that getting their business is important, it may not work. And if you do ask that question, there's oftentimes they'll say, you know what? I actually do have someone that maybe you could talk to, or I just had someone that tried to get pre-approved. Would you want to take a second look at it? Sometimes those are your foot in the door opportunities. And if you hadn't asked, you might even ask that. You might say, do you have any clients that, were trying to get pre-approved and just couldn't? Because I find that with some of our products and our ability to do this, that, or the other thing, that we can get people approved and others can't. Maybe keep me in mind for that. I mean, there's all of these different ways in which you can do that. So, all right, as we come to a close here, Sarahfina, I want to just distill this down as far as the database thing goes, because if you're a loan officer today and you have not been doing any sort of gold mining with your database, do you have any ideas or strategies on, like, where should I start, and what are a couple steps that I should take to connect with my database? Any ideas there?
Yes. So first off, I would get onto your CRM, of course.
What if you don't have a CRM?
If you don't have a CRM, get a CRM.
Get a CRM. Okay.
Get a CRM. Yes, get a CRM. Make sure all your database is uploaded in there. And after that, you're really going to want to, I always like to start off with an email. An email like I just kind of mentioned before. An email giving an update of what you've been up to.
Just to everybody?
Just to everybody.
Okay.
Just to everybody.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to, one of the programs that I was in 20 years ago was called By Referral Only. I'm sure if you've been in the mortgage industry for a long time or real estate, you've heard of By Referral Only, and Joe Stumpf is the person who trained it. And it's similar to Buffini's program as well. I think that one point way back, they were kind of partnered together. But nonetheless, he talked about doing a letter from the heart. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about, which is a way of reaching out to your database, even acknowledging that, look, I'm sending you this letter because we did a transaction together in the past, and I haven't done a great job of staying in touch with you. But I wanted to share with you a little bit about what's going on in my life, in my career, in the mortgage industry, whatever the case may be. And I've worked hard to pull together, a database, and it is my intention to communicate with you more. I mean, do you think that would be a good strategy?
Absolutely. And also another thing, again, it depends on you, and it depends on if this is something you would like to do or not, but if you do have some of that tech as well, is leaning in on that tech, and really maybe every so often, whether, again, you commit quarterly, monthly, every other month, whatever your commitment is, try to add in a little bit of like a tech highlight. Did you know we could do this through Mortgage Coach? Give a little example video, or give a little example snippet of what you can do in there. Did you know HomeBot could do this? And always kind of just share with your friends and family. We have this available. I like to, do tech highlights, but also events. You are doing a home buyer class event or an appreciation event. It's another way you can highlight that within that same email, because you can have different segments within one email,
Yeah.
To keep it value packed and personal is really what I always encourage a loan officer to do.
You just made me think of an idea. So this morning, I was on a call, and Dan Keller was on there, who's been a frequent guest on the podcast. And he said that one thing that he's doing right now is he's reaching out to his clients, talking about what, being prepared when interest rates drop, what might be the right point in which a refinance would make sense. And so I'm thinking about this reconnection letter, and I think that could be a great opportunity, especially if you're a Mortgage Coach user. And maybe you send out a sample that isn't specific to them, because that'd be a lot of work. But what you could do is you could say, what a lot of my clients have been talking to me about is when is going to be the right time for me to consider refinancing in order to lower my monthly payment, but in a way that doesn't, have me taking steps back in how long it's going to take me to pay off my mortgage, et cetera. So maybe offer to do a customized strategy for them that's going to not necessarily, I mean, look, you can't tell people when rates are going to come down because we don't know. But what you could tell them is like there's a point in which refinancing will make a difference for you. And what I would like to do is, if you'd like, is run a report that might help you find that kind of sweet spot, and then let you know that I'll follow up with you when interest rates get to that level. You know, some sort of strategy like that, and then just see what sort of response you get. You know, I mean, someone's going to reach out and say, that is such a cool idea. You know, we would love to save $400 a month. What would have to happen for us to be able to do that? And what you might also find out in these conversations is maybe someone needs something different. Maybe someone needs to do debt consolidation. You know, I talk about this all the time on this podcast, and loan officers, for some reason, think that no one would ever refinance their 3.5% rate for today's interest rates. And what they're forgetting is that some people are in a financial situation where they need to consolidate debt and lower their monthly obligations. And we don't ask them that. So giving people this handout like an idea, you might get people back who maybe don't need that, but they need something different because you reached out to them. And you just don't know unless you do it.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're asking and you're showing that you can give them the answers that they may be thinking about but don't know where to go. You know, oh, you can help me with that. I actually do need help with that consolidation. Do you have any tools to show, you know, what that would look like for me? And we definitely do. We do have tools, right? We can do it through Mortgage Coach. You could do it through MBS Highway as well.
Yep.
So you have these presentations that you can be showcasing these consumers that just to show them like, hey, this is what this looks like.
And you could just do a letter to your clients introducing HomeBot. Hey, I just signed you up for this. It's a very cool tool. There's a lot of changes going on in the real estate market. I want you to be up to date every single month with what the values are of not just your home, but the homes in your neighborhood. See the activity that's happening around you. I've signed you up for free. I hope you enjoy this information. I mean, hello.
Absolutely. And do you have a friend you can share this with? Go ahead, sign them up. Here's the link for free, you know, and now you've given them a link that now they can share with their mom and dad maybe, or their sister, or their brother, or their uncle. I know of people who use HomeBot at events too, and they collect the data and just upload it in there, and that's just been a game changer for the business as well.
I think that we could probably sit here for another half hour and just come up with little ideas. Here's what I would tell you. If you're a viewer of this show and you're a loan officer and you're not implementing any of the little things that we just mentioned, I would pick one of them and I would do that. Look, we need, and even if you're having relative success in this market, I think that, you know, we're heading into the fourth quarter. It's probably going to be a fairly cold, dark, chilly winter. Look, I hope that things change, but I don't know. There's nothing on the horizon that points to that changing significantly. And so it's going to take a lot of work, but these ideas are actually quite simple. And when you can take the technology, leverage the use of a CRM, you can reach out to a lot of people at once and really bring value to them. But also it's prospecting, it's marketing, it's pushing your brand out. It's making sure that you're top of mind when the market does shift and there's opportunities to help people restructure their mortgage debt. So what I want to do, Sarahfina, is I want to have you back on, in a few months because we have a lot of work to do in getting some things built out here in our region. And you're pretty new to the team, so I know that you have a long list of things to work on. So as we kind of get some of these new ideas implemented with the team, I'd love you to come back and share some feedback and some success stories on what people are implementing, how it's benefiting their business that we can share with the whole Market Shares audience. Is that a deal?
Awesome. That sounds great. And I think my last word of advice would be to time block some time in your calendar for self-development and your prospecting, and set little attainable goals until you can reach, a system that really works for you.
And go back and watch my basics episode because we talk about time blocking in there and a few other things. So look, the roadmap to success in mortgage banking is there, even in a tough market. You know, I've been doing this for 26 years, and I can tell you that my efforts on a day-to-day, whether I was a loan officer, a manager, or in the role that I'm in today, the efforts that I put in every day are what dictate my success. Sometimes it's more success when the tides are high and the market's good. Sometimes it's not as much success, but you're always going to be successful if you take ownership of your activities. And there's business out there. There's lots of people that are buying homes, less than maybe it would be, less than it might be in the future, but they're out there, and it's your responsibility, I think, to go out and grow and gain your own market share. So, see how I tied that market share?
That was
thing?
good. That was slick.
Really
That was
creative.
slick.
All right, guys. Well, hey, as always, I really appreciate your time and attention. We love making this content on market shares. And the number one thing that you can do for me, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, is just tell someone about this podcast. Let someone in mortgage or real estate that ask them if they've seen it, ask them to check it out. I would really appreciate that personal referral. Sarahfina, I want to thank you for taking the time to come all the way down here to hop into the studio and record this with me. And until next time, take care.